Tonight, an Atlanta law firm has filed more than 150 lawsuits this week against a medical sterilization plant. Now, the lawsuits claim the BD Bard plant in Covington is responsible for making 154 people sick who used to either work or live nearby. Attorneys claim that company officials knowingly allowed a toxic gas known as ethylene oxide to leak into the air since the 1960s, causing their clients to suffer cancer and birth defects. In 2019, 11 Alive took an exclusive tour inside that facility. The same day the tour, the company disclosed 54 pounds of ethylene oxide had accidentally leaked outside the plant just days prior. Attorneys representing the sick claim evidence will show that the gas impacted all of the community.
What these cases involve is the long-term release of ethylene oxide into this community in a self-reported manner that we believe violated the law and violated the regulations for years and years and years, and subjected the individuals in this community to harmful levels of ethylene oxide.
In a statement, BD denies all of the allegations in the civil lawsuits. The company says, based on data collected over the last 2 years, average concentrations of the gas in samples from Covington are consistent with typical levels identified by the Georgia Environmental Protection Division and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.